Hello and welcome to Fur, Fins, and Feathers. Believe it or not, but this is our 70th episode. And today I am very, very honored to bring a very handsome terrier, Lori Pelletier of Exeter, Rhode Island, who is the president of the Norfolk Club,
Yes.
the National Breed Club.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank
Very
you.
honored to have you.
Thank
We've
you.
talked about this for many years, but now it's come to fruition, and I'm very happy to have you and bring this beautiful, handsome. This is Elton.
This is Elton,
A
yes.
handsome Norfolk Terrier.
Yes.
How'd you get interested in the breed?
When I graduated from college and got my first real job, I decided I wanted to get back to breeding and showing dogs. I had worked as a junior handler with a breeder in Connecticut that bred collies and shelties, and then a man that had Akitas. So I wanted a breed of dog. I loved the terriers, but I wanted one that not everybody else had. So that led me to the Norfolk and the Norwich Terrier. And I bought my first dog, my first Norfolk, from Beth Swaggart, Yarrow Kennels.
A very, very prominent breeder.
Very prominent breeder. She was in Long Island at the time, now is in Pennsylvania. And I got my Martha in 1994. And that was the foundation of my breeding program. And Martha is his great-great-grandmother on both sides.
You've had, did you tell me, 48
48 champions, yes.
champions
Yes, that I have bred.
of all your breeding?
Yes, for all my breeding. Elton is a 5-year-old male. I bred both his mother and his father. His father was a big winning dog when he was out, and Elton has followed in his footsteps. He's won the breed at Westminster. He has won the Canadian National Specialty and Best in Shows in Canada. He has 3 reserve Best in Shows in the United States. He recently won the Best Bred by Exhibitor Award at Montgomery County Kennel Club at our National Specialty. Elton has won that award 3 times at Montgomery and been shown in the Bred by Exhibitor group at Montgomery the past 3 years that the show, we didn't have a show in 2021, but we did this year, and he was Best Bred by again.
What is the difference, Lori, between the Norfolk and the Norwich?
So most people will tell you it's just the ears. The Norwich has the up ears and the Norfolk is the drop ear. But really, in personality, they're very different. And if you study the history of the breed, the early breeders in the 30s and 40s had a preference. They either bred drop ear or they bred the prick ear. And not many kennels, continued to interbreed the two. The Norfolk is a very game terrier. They are definitely still a working terrier. They like to, find the rat. They will, hunt. And if something is there, they don't false alarm. They know that it's there. The Norwich isn't quite as game, and they don't have that same working ability that the Norfolk Terrier does. The Norwich Terrier is very endearing as a companion animal, but I like to tell people my Norfolks want me and my Norwich need me. Their personalities are very different from, sitting with you, jumping in your lap and sitting with you like the way the Norfolk does, or my Norwich will come and they'll dig at my legs and ask me to pick them up. They just have a very different way of being. Even mothering, Norwich mothers raise their young very differently than Norfolk mothers do. The health issues in the two breeds are very different. But they both make great companion animals. They are both what we consider to be a pack-bred terrier, so they were bred to work in a group, so they get along very well with other dogs, where some of your terrier breeds are independent hunters, and they're not quite as ready to live in a group. And those would be the dogs that were, hunting solely versus these guys who were bred to hunt in a pack. So personality can be very different. But they're very portable, they're small, they can go everywhere. The Norfolk loves to do everything. They love to hike, they love to swim, they like to, they'll love to go on airplanes. They love to do anything you do. And they do have a lot of energy. I mean, they're terriers, so they need to be walked, they need to have a little bit of a job, or they'll entertain themselves, which isn't always the best thing.
They are a very versatile breed. Both are.
Yes.
Very versatile.
Very
But talk
versatile.
about some of the activities that the Norfolk does?
So the Norfolk Terriers, I think they excel at the Earth Dog events, the hunting and barn hunt type events. They are very game, and they like to do anything that involves using their mind. I've done obedience and agility training with my Norfolks as well, and they love it. But you have to, when you're training these dogs, you have to make them believe it's their idea, which is very different from when I trained big dogs. You know, they would do everything for you just because. But with the Norfolk, they'll do it, but they need to be sure that they're having a really good time and doing it because they want to do it. So I think, you know, of course, I think the breed excels at cuteness. I think they're just a really wonderful breed to look at and to be around. You know, people say,
I'm ready to take him home.
and he would happily go with you. You know, people ask if they bark a lot, and I don't find that they bark if they've been well exercised and their minds have been, you know, entertained. I don't find that they're very barky. But I think that some of these dogs, you know, what they find appropriate to bark at, you may not, you know, find as entertaining. You know, if the leaves are blowing across the deck, that might be a reason to bark because it's movement. But they're very affectionate. They do love their people. You know, I think that, you know, it's very important from a very young age to train them like you would train a big dog. Expect them, you know, to come when they're called, and don't treat them like a little dog, you know, because they'll take advantage. They're very smart. Very, very smart, right? Yeah, very smart. But I think it's a great breed. I've enjoyed breeding both the Norfolk and the Norwich Terrier. My dogs come to school with me. I'm a school teacher, and the students get to work with the dogs.
You work at Norfolk Agricultural School.
Yes.
What is
in Walpole, Massachusetts, Norfolk County Agricultural High School.
One of the few agricultural schools still
yes. They're
operating in this country.
Yes, very true. Our sister school is Bristol County Agricultural High School in Dighton, Massachusetts. And
several people have come from
yes.
from Aggie
yeah,
on the show.
Yes, it's a great community. I teach in Walpole, Mass. I'm in my 30th year there. I run the canine program and the vet assisting program there. And my dogs get to participate in classes. The students get to use my dogs in class. And it helps to socialize them and stimulate them, and it introduces students to purebred dogs, to understanding why when we breed purebred dogs, you know, we can say we have a predictability in temperament and size, and those things are very important. So we're trying to hook the younger generation into
that is
purebred
very
dogs.
important.
It's very important to the survival of all of our breeds. You know, we need to get young people interested in breeding dogs, or, you know, we won't have breed clubs and dog shows and all the things we love. So, right?
Why is there such a decline in terriers?
I think a lot of it has to do with the coat care and maintenance. You know, young people want a wash and go dog. As you know, the terriers are hand stripped or plucked, or whatever one might use as the term. So, you know, it's a dying art, grooming terriers. People generally, you know, think it's easier to brush a dog than to have to worry about, you know, pulling their coats. And I also think that, you know, the terriers have small litters, so there aren't always a lot of puppies available, and people want a dog, they want it now. They don't want to wait. It took me 2.5 years to get my first Norfolk Terrier. And you have to be patient. If it's what you really want, you have to wait for the right one. And I think that can be a problem. You know, I find that, you know, the people that come to me that want puppies are retired people, older people that have retired, and they want a smaller dog that they can travel with. And again, that's wonderful. My dogs go to great homes, but I'd love to see, you know, a 20-something like I was when I got my first one come to me and say, I want to breed Norfolk Terriers. But it is hard. You know, the terriers, the numbers have dropped significantly, and the breeders, you know, are of advanced age, so then they stop breeding. It is hard. It's very hard. It's a wonderful breed. I mean, when people get them, they can't believe that they didn't get them 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you know, because they really are a neat breed.
Even my own breed that you knew I had,
yes.
Kerries.
Kerries, yes.
There aren't many Kerries anymore.
No, there aren't. And that is a breed that, you know, as far as grooming goes, is a little bit easier because you can hand scissor them. And, you know,
my mother
groomers
was pretty adept with her
yes,
scissors.
Yes, she was.
And there aren't many carries.
No, there aren't very many Kerries. And, you know, the bigger terriers, it's a lot of dog. You know, a Kerry Blue Terrier is a very strong dog. So, you know, so that sometimes keeps people away. But, you know, I think purebred dogs in general, we just need to keep the excitement going. When people understand when they buy a purebred dog, a dog that was bred with a purpose, that they, you know, can still do those things. And we can steer them in the right direction of, you know, how to participate. There's so many dog activities nowadays that you can do with your dogs. I mean, every weekend there's, you know, there's barn hunts and fast cat and, you know, just all kinds of really great, you know, that you can get trick dog titles on your dogs and all these things that are really great to encourage the bond between the owner and the dog. But also, you know, I can say, listen, I know this is what my dogs know how to do and how to do it. So, but it is, we do need, you know, we need young people. And breeding dogs, as you know, is not always easy. You know, it's not always.
The kids have so many distractions
they
these
do.
days.
They're very scheduled. They have a lot of other activities in their lives, and you know, taking care of animals is a huge responsibility. So, our Aggie students understand that. Our Aggie students, you know, are diehard animal lovers, and they don't mind getting up at 5 o'clock to feed their horses or feed their dogs, you know. And, you know, those are the kids that we hope we can get.
Now, your students traveled, they are based in Walpole?
No, we have 63 sending towns. So we have some students that actually go from Charlton to Walpole. Very long distance to come to school.
It's almost out to the western part of the
state. It's out in the western part of the state, yeah.
Boy, they must get up early in the morning.
They get up very early, and they're very dedicated. Our students come to school every day, and they get to bring their dogs to school, and they get to do really wonderful things. But it's Norfolk County, and then we do have out-of-county students as well. And Bristol County takes students from Bristol County and then outside their county as well. And our numbers, the popularity of the programs are very popular. The animal science programs
I've been
on
and talked to the principal at Aggie, and it's amazed how many kids are really anxious to get in there.
Yes, very anxious to get in there. Yes, it's a wonderful
to enroll, and they have developed wonderful careers.
Yes, they have. And both schools, Bristol had a recent building project, and we had one a few years back. So we have really beautiful facilities to train our students in, and you know, animals right on campus, and it makes a big difference in our programs.
So what other breeds have you enjoyed? You mentioned the Vizsla.
Yeah, I live with 2 Vizsla. We have a 16-and-a-half-year-old and a 4-year-old. And I also have a Border Terrier. We have Border Terriers in the house. So, but I have a lot of experience with a lot of breeds. I bred Beagles at one point with a kennel, and Golden Retrievers I've been a breeder of. So I love dogs. I'm not really devoted, you know, I mean, this is my heart breed, but I love all dogs. When my students bring me their dogs, I don't care the breed, I just love dogs. So, and I love when people are doing things with their dogs, when they're, you know, taking them and doing training and stimulating them and, you know, building a really good relationship with your dog. I think that's very important. I know it helps us physically, but it helps the dogs physically as well. So.
I'm ready to take him home.
Yeah, I think he says, I want to run around the studio and see where everything is. Right, Elton?
You are a handsome young man.
He says, thank you.
How is their longevity? Talk about it.
So, you know, the smaller dogs live a little bit longer than big dogs do. And barring any, you know, health crisis coming up, my dogs have generally lived to 14, 15 years old. I like them to live longer because they're really special creatures, but they have pretty good longevity. We do have a heart issue in the breed that crops up every once in a while, and those dogs might not live as long. But for the most part, they get into their early teens pretty easily without any health problems. You know, they're really low maintenance that way, which is really nice.
Now, you have traveled?
Yes, we have traveled.
With your...
Yes. We were in Oklahoma last weekend.
Last weekend, but I was going to ask, do you import?
So, very good question. I did recently, in the last few years, import 2 dogs from England. Our gene pool in this country is very small, so I went to England.
How are the dogs in England?
They're wonderful. The Norfolk has much higher numbers in England, and there are some really wonderful kennels doing great job in England. So I went to a kennel in England that had dogs that looked a lot like my dogs, and a really wonderful breeder. And she sold me a dog, and then she sent me one of her English champions, and he came here for a year and a half. We turned him into an English American champion and used him for breeding. And I've been very, very pleased with the introduction of the English lines. In the Norwich, in England, the Norwich is very, very rare in England. It's the opposite. In America, we have more Norwich than Norfolk, and in England, they have more Norfolk than Norwich. So it's very interesting.
I remember Thrumpton's Lord Brady.
Lord Brady, yes.
And that was, what, almost 40 some years ago?
Yes, big
with
win.
Peter Green.
Yes, with Peter Green. Yep.
And
best in show dog.
he was the most handsome little guy.
He
I
was.
remember the night he won Best in Show at Eastern that night.
Yes.
And that was, brought the house down.
Yeah. And probably the next Norwich that was memorable to people was Willem, when Willem won Best in Show at Westminster.
Yes, of course.
And he was a wonderful little dog. And that was right when I was getting into the breed. Willem was the talk of the town.
So why are the numbers have decreased in England?
In Norwich.
In Norwich,
very,
rather.
very, very low numbers in Norwich in England, and the Norfolk does well in England. And here, the Norfolk numbers are much lower than Norwich numbers. So it's kind of an interesting. There aren't very many of us that still do both breeds, but there are a few of us in the national clubs that still breed both Norfolk and Norwich. But even in our breed clubs, people preferred one to the other. So, and I love both breeds. I just, having a heavy base in obedience training and dog behavior, animal behavior, I really prefer the Norfolk temperament because I find them a little bit more versatile than the Norwich. And my Norwich people won't like me to say that. But I love showing Norwich Terriers. They will stand in the ring all day long and look at you and just, beg for the win, where the Norfolk gets bored with it after a while. They can be a little harder to show because, they're like, okay, I already did this, I want to do something else. So, I think they both have their virtues, and both breeds, like I said, make great companion animals, but they are hard to get a hold of. They're very hard to get a hold of. There just aren't a lot of numbers around.
People have to really search high and low.
They do. They do.
To get a quality dog.
They do. And the best way to do that is to truly go to the National Club's websites, and we have breeder referral people, and we have lists of breeders in your area, and that's start making phone calls and, contacting
and
people.
Go to dog shows.
Going to dog shows, absolutely, and go visit. I have a lot of people that come visit my dogs that then get dogs from other people. They just want to put their hands on them and see if it's a breed they will really like. And it's, it is really it's a great service to our breed that we can go to meet the breeds, and we can go to dog shows, and we can go places and bring our dogs for the public to meet them, because they don't see a lot of them. They always ask, are they a Cairn Terrier? Because they have a more familiarity with Cairns than they do Norfolk and Norwich.
My friend, and I know you know him very well, Mike Pizzari.
Yes.
He and Maida do such a good job of getting their dogs out every weekend in Gettysburg, throughout the area, and introducing people to the breeds.
Yes. And, again, if people, learn what these breeds were bred for, and how to go about getting one, and, spend time talking to breeders, then they can build a lifelong relationship. A lot of people that get puppies from me now have had puppies from me over the years. Over the past 28 years, they've had other dogs from me, and this one might be replacing their first one or their second one. And you build a lifelong relationship with your puppy owners, so it's really great.
Now, he just had some wins this weekend.
He did. He won the breed. We had a big cluster out in West Springfield, Massachusetts, and he won the breed every day. There was a total entry of about 6 or 7, which is a good size entry for us. We are, a low breed. It was a major entry. And he'll be heading to Westminster in January. And, he's had a really nice career. Like I said, he's won some very nice shows, and, he's made me very proud to be his breeder and his owner.
And then after Westminster, what happens? Will he continue?
I think he's retiring. I think he's probably retiring, but we haven't told him that yet. we haven't told him that the stand and be pretty thing it might come to an end, right, buddy?
Are you going to continue to become a judge?
I would like to do that. That is a goal. You know, I have retirement.
We need good terrier judges.
We do. I have retirement coming, you know, in the not too distant future. So that would be a great way to continue my passion for purebred dogs. So I am the Judges Education Chair for the Norwich Terrier Club, and I present Judges Education for the Norfolk Terrier Club. So I have a really good relationship with the upcoming terrier breeders, terrier judges, and I love teaching, and I love, you know, sharing my knowledge about the breed with people, and I think that that's what we need to do. We need to just keep educating people about purebred dogs in general.
And about dog shows.
And about dog shows, yes.
And all the wonderful things that people can enjoy with their dogs.
Yes, and there are dog clubs everywhere, you know, in every area. If people want to get active in a dog club, you don't even have to own a dog to be a member of a dog club. You know, and
I got a question the other day, and someone from Rhode Island called me and said, I would like to learn about dogs. Mm-hmm. Do I have to be a member of, because I'm now the vice president of the Rhode Island Kennel Club.
Right.
Would you like, do we have to be a member? I said, absolutely not.
No.
I said, you are more than welcome to come and participate and learn.
Yep. And we just need to be, you know, in the dog world, we need to be very inviting and opening, and we need to encourage people. And, you know, we all have to remember we were all beginners at some point. And we need to share our knowledge with people.
If I remember.
You have to think way back, right?
45 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
It was, but I had Al Kirby as a trainer. Do you remember Al?
I do.
He would not let us give up.
No, they won't.
And thank God we didn't.
I had some great mentors in this breed, and when I came into the breed, people were really wonderful with me and sharing their knowledge and helping me become a better breeder and a better groomer and a better handler in the breed. And I always said I would give back. That would be my thing. I just wanted to be sure that I would give those same opportunities to new people in the breed. It's very important to foster a relationship with people that are interested in purebred dogs.
Now your students at Norfolk, do a lot of them pursue interest in going on to school?
They do. I have a couple of really standout graduates that you know, are actively breeding and showing dogs, which I'm very proud of. But you know, our percentage of students that go on, the animal science students that go on to college, is in the high 90s, and most kids go to college for animal science. You know, the animal science field is such nowadays that you really do need, for many of the fields, a college degree. And so our students go on. Some go on to grooming programs. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot in this area, so they have to travel for those. There's a couple of training schools that my students have been very successful at. But most go to University of Rhode Island or University of Massachusetts to the animal science programs, and they'll major in biology or pre-vet or something like that. I have several graduates that are young veterinarians now. I'm very proud of that. And it's always nice to go.
I just had one on the show a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And
it's very nice.
Amazing.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's very nice to go to professional conferences and see your students sitting there right next to you, you know, your graduates. So, you know, it's very rewarding if we can open the kids' minds up to education and the need for animal preservation, whether it be livestock or dogs or, you know, whatever it is, and get students to understand that we need a voice. You know, we to protect our animals and to protect all the things that come with animals, we need young people, you know, getting into the fields.
I think it's very important for in the community that we support these schools.
I agree.
It's
yes,
very important.
It's very important. You know, the state of Massachusetts has done a great job supporting vocational education in general, and that has definitely benefited our programs, and you know, through the building, allowing us, you know, to participate in the building projects. Both schools have brand new buildings built, and you know, our students, when all of those things happen, it's because they can see the successes that our students are having. which is wonderful. So
And they've developed lucrative careers.
They have, yes. There's such a vast, the animal science field is huge. Whether they become veterinarians or veterinary technicians or animal care workers, or, they work for the animal rescue leagues, or they, you name it.
There are so many things they can do.
Animal research, they can do so many things. They can work in the animal fields in so many ways. And, and if they tell two friends and they tell two friends and so on, then it becomes a really good, secure future for the way that animals should be cared for.
Our agricultural schools are so important.
Very important. And the campuses are beautiful. If people haven't been, they should, go and take a look at the campuses of those schools. And they are, there's animals on it, and there's students, and there's people having a good time, and
and they're learning so many
good
things.
They are. And, some of those people say, oh, you're a teacher. And I said, yes. I said, I have the best of both worlds. I get to work with animals and kids all day long. And that's really the best of both worlds. So, I've had a long career at Norfolk Aggie, and it has served me and my little dogs very well. So.
Other breeds that you've enjoyed, though? What are some of those? You said you talked about the Vizslas and Goldens.
Goldens, yep.
Now, have you been a professional handler?
I did used to show a lot of dogs for people. I'm now just showing dogs from my breeding program.
Okay.
But about 10, 12 years ago, and before that, I was showing a lot of dogs, a lot of different breeds, Scotties and Westies and soft-coated Wheaten Terriers and Dachshunds and then many of the sporting breeds. But now I really just focus on my Terriers between my full-time job teaching and the amount of breeding I do. And I live in Rhode Island but work in Massachusetts, so
that's a hike every day.
It is a hike every day. So I've cut back, on showing for other people. I really just show dogs from my breeding program now. So
where is Elton going? Are you going to Florida this weekend?
We are not going to go to Florida. We've chosen to stay up in the north this year. So he'll have the Eastern Dog Club shows coming up in Springfield, and then we'll end the year in Lehigh Valley down in Pennsylvania. So that's where we'll end our year.
And then you get to relax.
Then we get a few weeks off, yes. Elton and I both get a few weeks off, right, buddy?
And you'll be getting ready for Westminster.
Yes, Westminster's in January this year, so that's a little bit different for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's been wonderful. This was our 70th show, and what a way to celebrate.
Thank you.
It was an honor to have you.
Thank you.
And to have Elton.
And
I'll take Elton home if you'd like.
He'd like to go home. He'd probably go home with anybody, right, buddy?
What a nice dog.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.